Welcome to a special edition of Papal Profiles, given the death of Pope Francis this past week. Many regard Francis as a reformer, but was he really? Let's look at the evidence from his papacy. When Francis stepped onto the papal balcony in 2013, he made papal history twice, the first Jesuit and the first from outside Europe to be elected in over 1,000 years. He chose the name Francis after the saint of poverty and peace, signaling humility and maybe, just maybe, reform. But what followed was a papacy of paradox, soft-spoken yet dogmatic, progressive in tone, traditional in substance. One of his earliest moves was asking, "Who am I to judge?" when questioned about gay clergy. It was a watershed moment, until it wasn't. In 2023, he permitted blessings for same-sex individuals, but not for their unions. Then, in 2024, he slipped and used an Italian slur to describe gay priests, later claiming it was a language mix-up. Francis has issued bold statements, but often walked a tightrope. His 2016 document, Amoris Laetitia, opened communion to the civilly remarried and raging conservative bishops. But he's refused to lift celibacy requirements or ordain women, even as numerous parishes have no priest and seminaries sit empty. Meanwhile, he's restored church sanction for exorcisms, claiming demonic possession is on the rise. Satan, he believes, is not a metaphor, but a real and active force. He's even weighed in on cremation. In keeping with the 1963 directive, Francis reaffirmed that ashes must be stored in sacred ground, because resurrection apparently is hard enough on God without having to track down scattered remains. The divine has limits, it seems, when it comes to logistics. In 2014, Francis echoed his predecessor Benedict XVI on evolution, saying, "Evolution in nature does not conflict with the notion of creation because evolution presupposes the creation of beings who evolve." It was a rare bridge between faith and science. But not all reform has inspired confidence. In response to the Church's abuse scandals, Francis launched a tribunal in 2015 to hold bishops accountable, but only within the Church's own courts. A 2021 update to canon law finally required clergy to report abuse, but only to Catholic authorities, not civil ones. Critics point to the same tired reasoning, rooted in forged documents like the Constitutum Silvestri, which falsely claimed bishops could only be judged by their peers and popes could not be held accountable by anyone except God. 2,000 years on, the Church is still clinging to its own myths that it is above secular law. And yet, Francis did open the Vatican archives on Pope Pius XII, allowing long-denied scrutiny of the Church's role during the Holocaust, a rare moment of transparency in an institution built on secrecy. In summary, Francis has criticized homosexuals in the Church while softening the stance on same-sex blessings, banned the scattering of ashes, blamed the devil for the Church's failures, and thinks exorcisms are a solution to mental issues. Is Pope Francis the reformer he was billed to be, or a man caught between the realities of a modern world and the weight of 20 centuries of tradition? The truth may be somewhere in between. A pope of firsts, perhaps, but not necessarily of change. Thanks for watching. Please check out the other videos on my channel if history is your thing, and see you next time.